All right, somebody asked me how to import textures or pictures or anything that you may have into Substance, so Painter, so I'm going to show you real quick. And then how to use them real quick too. So I have this open. The best way for me, the way I always do it, is I just open up my shelf, which if you don't have it, it's right there. And then I just come over to wherever that image that I want to drag in is. In that case, it's this one. I just drag it here, and I can hide this. And say texture, and say current session import, and then it should put it right there. So now that it's in here, I'll just kind of leave this off the screen here. Now that it's in here, how do I use it? Well, this doesn't even have any layers. There's two kinds of layers as we talked about. There's the fill layer and the regular layer. If I'm going to use a fill layer, and actually let me do the view where you can see my UVs too. Okay. If I do the fill layer, that's the easiest one to see. So I have this one layer that's overlapping everything. If I take this picture, I'm going to go ahead and just leave it on color, by the way. If I take this picture and I throw it into base color, now it's using that texture everywhere. And if you can tell, this texture is just this big high. It just fills up the whole picture. So I can actually either scale it in here, or I can scale it this way. And if I want to repeat that high, I can do it that way. If I'm smart and I know that I'm doing this, then I can use the method that I was talking about before in the coloring book inside of Photoshop and put whatever I want specifically in that area, and that's the only part that gets made. The other way you can use it is if we delete this one, I'll do an empty transparent layer, or the basic layer here. And what I will do is, apparently I hit that by accident. There we go. What I'll do is I'll again turn off everything but this. And then when I put this texture inside the base color again, it's not showing up on here because it turns into a brush. It's like an alpha brush. And I'll show you how to make it get rid of that little pop thing. But then you can just, draw with it or whatever you want. The other thing you'll see is it does have this little alpha on it, and that's just this. If you turn that off now, I'm back to square. Okay, so that's two ways you can do it. And then the third way is, let me take this, delete it, and then I'm going to grab, I hate when you do that. I'm going to grab a material. We'll just do this. We'll do gold. We'll throw gold on here. Come back to my textures. There it is. Okay. I don't really need to see it right now. I can just put it over to the side. But if you look at the name, it's called high. If I have it in my textures, and let's say I just want to put this in certain places. Now, again, it's better if I do it inside the unwrap, so I'm all laid out perfectly, but let me show you. You can come up to this alpha channel, or you can right click and say alpha channel, and you can say alpha mask by Bitmap, and that's what this is. So if I type in, when it opens up that window, I could type in high, and in theory, I think I have to be in caps, high. Huh. Okay. Oh, you know what? You can't use a PSD. So let me come over here and file. Well, I can just do it the other way too. Save it as a ping. I guess you can't use it as an alpha. So I'll grab this back in here. I'll come back to my this, and now I have the high ping, and I'll put it right there. And then I'll say texture, and I will say current session import. And there's that. And now if I come back in here and say Bitmap Mask, and hopefully there it is. Now they're both showing up. I just missed it last time. So I can just click on this, and now you can see that it's doing that. And just in case you aren't confused why it looks like that, let's do this again with a fill. I'll put a fill on top, And I will take all this out and take that high texture and put it right there, and you can see that it's just that. So if I say, oh, let's do this. Say 6. And I'll come back to my alpha map and come up to interesting. I guess I thought you could tile it in here too. Well, I guess you can't. Oh, there's that anyway. You couldn't see it anyway, but here, if I put this above it, it means gold everywhere but that, and I want to invert it, I can also take this. It's better to invert it outside of here, but I can just invert the mask, and now the gold is only on the areas like that, and then, yeah, scaling it is something different completely. Tiling mode. Anyway, so that's how you use it. If it's better if you do it inside of Photoshop or wherever and get your coloring book set up and do the black and white inside the specific areas you want it. And that's it.